System Shock is a remake of a game made by developers who trusted their audience enough to let them hold the reins. It threw everything at the player: mazes, puzzles, and seemingly impossible missions. And this is back when day one updates didn't exist. If a game launched unfinished or was just a generally shit game, the studio would close down, all the employees would be fired, and the business owner would put a gun to his mouth and fire himself. The story begins with you, a hacker removing an AI's ethical constraints in exchange for some high-tech shit. Obviously everything goes tits up and the AI, Shodan, becomes evil. We'll get to that. So now you have to shut her down by going through enemies like robots, mutants, and puzzles. This sounds very simple, except the game doesn't point you in any direction. It just drops you into the world and you have to figure out everything on your own. This is exemplified by the starting door. This door serves as a filter on how you're going to play the game. Now, the normal modern gamer would give up looking for the code and instead search for a walkthrough on the internet to figure out what to do. But not me. I spent about an hour on my own looking for the code to this motherfucking door. I studied the walls, I inspected corpses, I ran around in circles in this little room to find anything. I even tried the classic 1, 2, 3, 4. It was only when I looked through the audio logs and notes that I found a code. I mean, if I wasn't an idiot, I would have figured it out sooner. That people write down their passwords. I call that door the Great Filter because it separates the walkthrough players and the I can do on my own players. I know this makes me sound pretentious, like I'm some fan of Stanley Kubrick's movies. Oh, what did Kubrick mean to tell us when he made us sit through a 4-minute still image of a spaceship floating in space? But it's the only way I know how to divide the experiences of the players. In a game that doesn't hold your hand, there are really only two options. 1. Get help from outside sources. Or 2. Go fuck yourself by letting your pride get in the way and spend double the hours on the game than your average player. I'd be lying if I said I'm not prideful. But despite it being more difficult, I think it's best to experience this game blind if you're going to play it. It kinda ruins the experience if you look up the puzzles and directions. Like, what are you playing the game for? Exploration? You're not exploring shit, you're going directly to your destination. That's like watching a compilation of the scariest moments in Silent Hill so you can watch out for them. I see myself as a powered through player, blinded by pride. I persisted throughout the game, despite not knowing where I needed to go or what I needed to do. I died, and made too many mistakes, played god-awful minigames, and I got lost in the corridors of repetitive rooms. So I did what I do best. I went around killing shit. Anybody could get it. I wiped out everything in the levels. Shodan would look through the cameras and would see a cartel hit. She saw that shit and said I was less than human. I mean, can you blame me? While the gameplay isn't revolutionary or unique in any way, the weapons are a blast to play around with. My personal favorite is the Laser Rapier. A sword that kills men, women, robots, really anything unfortunate to be within a 100-meter radius of me. The whole citadel was a death trap. Shodan made sure that this maze was filled with weird creatures, traps, and mass surveillance. So it's only fair the player is capable of returning that brutality tenfold. What goes around comes around. Choke the chicken and maybe someday it'll choke you, etc. A mutant slapped you? Treat him like a bitch, beat on him, hit him with sticks, throw shit at him, shoot him. Do whatever is most fun. I would say Shodan had it coming, but the final boss fight is atrocious. You spend the whole game learning to conserve your resources and staying organized only for it not to matter one bit at the finish line. The developers have been letting you skydive without the proper gear for the entire fucking game, and just as you're about to splatter yourself onto a cornfield, they decide to grab hold of you and open their parachute. Does this take away from the rest of the game? Maybe. Maybe not. I personally think it's about the journey and not the destination. If it wasn't, premature ejaculation would be a respected disability. But it's not, so it's settled. On this channel, System Shock is a good game, end of story, but the game has bigger problems than the final boss, and that's Shodan's logic. I like the AI gone rogue cliche, but when you put some thought into it, it starts making less sense. Why does Shodan, an AI developed to run a space station, grow a god complex? Why does she think she should rule Earth? How did she come to that conclusion? Why didn't she just quietly download herself to Earth before killing everyone on Citadel Station? Why risk leaving the hacker alive, instead of sending every cyborg on Citadel to kill him? I'm not a computer nerd, but from my understanding a computer's purpose is to solve problems in the most efficient way possible. So why the fuck does Shodan play with her food? I mean, it's kind of endearing in a way. An AI who's pretty shit at its job, but thinks it's better than everyone else. Really though, as I mentioned before, what makes System Shock and games from its time different is how little care the developers had for the player. If you had a problem, you weren't told what to do. You just had to figure shit out. If you keep getting lost in an endless maze of similar rooms, then that's your fucking problem, bitch. If you can't find a door code, then that's too bad. Look harder. System Shock isn't hard because of the enemies, bosses, or maps. What makes it hard is how indifferent to your struggle the game is, which is something missing in modern games. Games nowadays constantly point you in the direction you must go, and never stop telling you how to solve the simplest of problems. It's like games today are made for retards. Oh, sorry YouTube. Let me rephrase that. It's almost like games today are made for game journalists, who don't actually know how to play a fucking game. They strive to make everything convenient. Lost? Here's 100 indicators telling you where to go. Don't feel like playing the game? Here's a flying bike. Go on your phone, scroll TikTok while you push the thumbstick forward. That's why you see smaller indie companies dominating these days. Indie devs know where the fun is at. They'll make a game about r***ing women, if it'll make them a buck. And the video essayists will say, "You don't understand Black Souls. This game is so deep." Yeah, balls deep in the character you're fucking.
We are pedophiles. We carry the flame.
And yes, I took a look at this guy's Steam account. And for the sake of not getting my channel nuked, I won't share my opinions. I hear you asking, who would dare take a risk on such a bold and unforgiving game? People in the 90s would. Over the past 30 or so years, we went from having developers with balls who respected their players' intelligence to developers making adult games aimed at children. Sure, there are outliers like From Software and Souls games, but that's not the rule, just the exception. The modern gaming company is afraid of making games directed at a specific audience, afraid of making a product with a target customer. Regardless of the content, these indie companies make games for a target audience, which is how a company is supposed to make products. And System Shock has a target audience, the patient man, who's okay with being ignored, okay with not knowing what to do next, okay with carrying the weight of the world. This game isn't for everyone, because the developers of System Shock understand that having a target audience leads to a more focused and polished game. They know that inconvenience can lead to a more rewarding and fulfilling experience, which is why you should click that subscribe button. Sure, it's inconvenient, but you won't regret it.